stand and sing our opening song. I am the place where God shows up. Within us, allow that love and that light to flow through you. Feel it going through your body. And then also seeing yourself radiate that love and light. Radiate it. And as we're sitting in that wonderful space, that wonderful presence that we are Christed beings, let us take a moment and thank our divine spirit, that Holy Spirit, that great spirit. We honor and we welcome you, great spirit, and we thank you. We thank you for this day. We thank you for the love and the light that you shared with us. We thank you for our rebirth again this morning. We thank you for all the many blessings that we will receive today. We greet you this day, great spirit. Good morning to you. And we greet you, spirit of this land and ancestors of this land. Good morning to you today. Thank you for sharing your land with us this morning. Thank you for the wisdom and the guidance that you give us. Thank you for the love and the light that you share with us. Good morning, spirit of the land and ancestors of the land. We greet you this day. Good morning, our beautiful ancestors. We honor and we greet you. You beautiful beings who came before us and sacrificed in order for us to be here, for our earthfall. We honor and we greet you, our ancestors. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you for sharing your love and your light with us. Good morning, our animal spirits, helping spirits, angels and archangels, healing spirits. We honor and we greet you this day. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you for the love and the light that you share with us. Blessed be to you all. Good morning, animal spirits, helping spirits, healing spirits, angels and archangels. We greet you this day. And good morning to all you beautiful beings on the web of life. As we radiate our presence, you receive our love and our light. So we greet you all on the web of life, all on the web of the universe, all on the web of the cosmos. Good morning. We greet you this day. Blessed be, blessed be. Good morning. So today is a special day because our friend Donna Drozda is here and is going to share a wonderful message with us. We are so grateful when you come, Donna. You are a friend of all. And she sent me a video last night of her new exhibit at Norfolk Academy. Well, we know she's fabulous, but this was, wow, it was great. It was just great. Unfortunately, you guys couldn't do an in-person thing, so you took a video. It's just beautiful with her work. Wow. Ginny and I had the opportunity to go to see one a couple years ago when you were at the Botanical Gardens. It was just lovely. Just lovely. So thank you for the video, and I shared it with Ginny today. So let us stand again and sing our next congregational song, I Am a Radiant Life with God.
I am the radiant life of God. I am, I am, I am. I am the radiant life of God. I am, I am, I am. The health of God, the strength of God, I have the energy in of God. I am the radiant life of God. I am, I am, I am. I am the wonderful love of God. I am, I am, I am. I am the wonderful love of God. I am, I am, I am. The peace of God, the joy of God, serenity, harmony, rhythm of God. I am the wonderful love of God. I am, I am, I am. I am the wisdom and power of God. I am, I am, I am. I am the wisdom and power of God. I am, I am, I am. The light of God, success of God, prosperity, happiness, light of God. I am the wisdom and power of God. I am, I am, I am.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And while we're standing, let us greet each other with the Christ in me greets the Christ in you, because all of us are Christ beings. So that not only acknowledges it within us, but in all others. Because Christ in me greets the Christ in you. Christ in me greets the Christ in you. Christ in me greets the Christ in you. Yes. Please be seated. And together we have an affirmation for Unity Williamsburg Spiritual Center. So please let's say that together. Unity Williamsburg Spiritual Center is a radiant center of divine life, light, and love. We are a thriving, prosperous spiritual community that honors divine presence in all and celebrates our oneness through loving service in our community. And together let's pray the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the glory, and the power, forever. Amen. So next week we're going to do something a little bit different, so just to let y'all know, give you a heads up. So let us together stand for our next congregational song, Morning Has Broken.
Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning.
this beautiful fall weather. We're going to do something a little bit different today for prayers and celebrations, and we wrote something about it in our update this week. Because we are on the internet, we're kind of concerned that folks on the internet watching, folks that we do not know, may take advantage of what we're saying for prayers and celebrations. So what we're going to do is hold that person in your heart, hands over your heart if you wish, and whatever your celebration is, you can share it in the back when we go to fellowship. But hold that in your heart too, and know that we celebrate your celebrations, and we all pray for your folks, your prayers. We're one in spirit. We're one in God. We're one in spirit. So just take a moment, close your eyes, and just speak quietly that person that you're holding in prayer. And like I said, if you put your hand over your heart or prayer, whatever, and know that not only you're sharing it with us, but you're sharing it with God. And know that prayers are answered. And at the same time, you're more than welcome at the end of the service. We have a prayer chaplain in the back if you wish to pray one-on-one with that person. And also, you can send it to the email address, which we'll share later in the service. Just take a moment and think of that person or persons. And also know in your celebrations, we celebrate with you too. And now together, if we will together read our affirmation, our prayer, together. And as we center ourselves in the one presence and the one power, we realize that our thoughts have the power to heal and bless. We send them out now, carrying love, peace, joy, and life to situations and celebrations that have been requested. Thought by thought and prayer by prayer, we transform the world. And we were talking too with the prayer chaplains, Reverend Jenny and I. We'll put the prayer boxes out eventually, but not at this time. So in a couple of months, we'll have the prayer boxes out so you guys can fill those out, and we'll have those. But it's just not time right now. So I invite Jude Eastman. She's our prayer chaplain. No, she may be the prayer chaplain today, but she's the PA today.
No, I recruited Susan.
Okay. So there we go, and she's going to share the daily word with us and a few other things.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Today's daily word is let go, let God. I'm going to read it once and then I'll read it with me. Divine love, wisdom, and understanding express through me. Let's all read it together. Divine love, wisdom, and understanding express through me. If I feel unsure of the next step in any situation, I let go and let God. I don't walk away from a difficulty or try to force resolutions. Instead, I release my tight mental grip on problems and open myself to solutions. I let go of my ego's desire for control and my need to bring about specific outcomes. I believe there are solutions and remedies beyond what my mind can conceive. I yield to possibility. I trust the indwelling divine presence, just as I would trust a mentor. Letting go and letting God means creating space for the dynamic, creative energy of spirit to inspire and surprise me. Divine love, wisdom, and understanding fuel my thoughts and express my words and guide me in all ways. From Psalms 86:11. Teach me your way, O Lord, that I may walk in your truth. Give me an undivided heart to revere your name. And then we have a special reading, A Blessing for Peace. It's by John O'Donohue. And it's off page 4. May you awaken to the mystery of being here and enter the quiet immensity of your own presence. May you have joy and peace in the temple of your senses. May you receive great encouragement when new frontiers beckon. May you respond to the call of your gift and find the courage to follow its path. May the flame of anger free you from falsity. May warmth of heart keep your presence aflame and anxiety never linger about you. May your outer dignity mirror an inner dignity of soul. May you take time to celebrate the quiet miracles that seek no attention. May you be consoled in the secret symmetry of your soul. May you experience each day as a sacred gift woven around the heart of wonder. And now it's time for our lovely Donna Drozda to deliver our message that is equanimity, here and now.
To everyone who has made this extraordinary sanctuary possible. I want to thank Reverend Jan, Reverend Jenny, Reverend Denise, the board, everyone who comes here, everyone who's out there picking this up now or in the days ahead. It's so wonderful to be able to be with all of you and to see you every time I come, and it's such a great thing to be able to gather together again. Even though some of us were gathering throughout the last while, we're beginning to emerge again and connect again and come together again and bug each other again and wonder how we do this thing called community and relationship again. So this year, my theme for the 4 talks that I'm doing here are peace and healing. And they're always appropriate topics. But I love to consider the Tibetan Buddhist approach to peace and healing because it's so, as I often say, the word quirky. It's just so quirky. And one of the phrases in Tibetan Buddhism that I really it got my attention way back when is to rest in equanimity, free from attachment and free from aversion. And it opens up a really broad aperture for us. And usually, I guess I'll speak for myself. I think I like to keep really focused. I don't like a lot of distraction. I really like to know what I'm going to be up to and how I'm going to be going about my day. And good luck with that. You know, like Caroline May says, you know, to make God laugh, just tell him your plans. And so this whole idea of equanimity and resting and being not attached to what we want and what we don't want is just, I think it's just such a rich topic. You know, 1959, the Dalai Lama, the 13th Dalai Lama had died in Tibet, very secluded culture, no contact with the outside world at all, really. A few people made their way into Tibet because they wanted to climb the Himalayan mountains, but for the most part, it was a very peaceful nation. And then they were invaded. And China decided that they owned Tibet, and it was time for them to get serious about their acquisition of Tibet. And so the Dalai Lama at that time, the 14th Dalai Lama, the current Dalai Lama, was 15 years old. He was a spiritual leader of the country because the spiritual leaders are found. And so when the 13th Dalai Lama died, a certain group of very high lamas went out into the countryside searching for the next Dalai Lama, a child, a toddler, 2 years old, 3 years old. And the way that they would find the Dalai Lama, the new Dalai Lamas, they would take 3 to 5 items that belonged to or that were used by the previous Dalai Lama. Maybe a ceremonial cup or a mala or a kafka, a scarf. And they would go to these different homes and with the parents' consent, they would put these items in front of a toddler. And if the child seemed interested in them, they would take note of that. And eventually they would find a child that recognized the items. They could tell. They were important to the child. And that was what happened with Tenzin Gyatso, the 14th Dalai Lama. So he's 15 years of age. He's been given his education. He's the spiritual leader of the country. And there's an invasion. How does he keep his equanimity? How does he stay balanced as a spiritual leader? It's a wonderful story, and it's really it's current event, really, because it's just been over the last 60 years that this has been unfolding in this very, very remote part of the world that most of us never think about. I never thought about it. I never thought about Tibet. I knew that there were the Himalayan mountains. I knew that they were the highest elevations in the planet. But then, in 1994, I was in Bali, the island of artists. And that's in Indonesia. And I was sitting in this amazingly gorgeous place. And the fellow that was there with me from the Omega Institute, who was our guide for our trip to Bali, he said, I'm thinking about taking a group of people, maybe 7 to 9 people, and going to Tibet. Would you like to go? I had no idea where Tibet was. But I really liked the sky. And I really loved what was going on in Bali, the island of artists. And so I said, I'd love to go. Keep me posted. You've got my email. Let me know what's going on. 1995, I went to Tibet. It's really, really, really hard to go to a place on the planet that is so extraordinarily rich in history and in peace and in beauty, and to experience colonization. And we could all go into the history books and really not find a whole lot about colonization. But it's really a kind of a hot topic right now. How we move around the planet trying to take control of one another's cultures and make everybody kind of do what we want them to do. How do we rest in equanimity when we see so much that is out of balance? So, I like to drive up here. It's an hour's drive, and I'm driving up on the highway today, and I'm doing my 100-syllable mantra. If I had the confidence, I did it over 100 times on the way here, but I don't have the confidence to do it out loud to you because I'm afraid I would trip over it, but it's really, really beautiful. And so I'm doing the 100-syllable mantra, the car is otherwise quiet, and I'm very aware of where I'm at, that I'm driving, that I'm coming here, that I'm going to be here. I'm very much in my space, and a car drives by, and its license plate says CH46ES. And if you write that down, it changes. And that's what it says, changes. CH46ES. Our brain reads it as the word changes. Oh, that's great. That's very, very much in line with equanimity here and now. We have to understand, be open to, be willing, be curious, be excited about change. But most of us dig our heels in and say, I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. You're not going to make it different. I'm not going to do what you want me to do because I know what I want to do. So how do we rest in equanimity here and now when we're in this tug of war, not only with ourselves but with each other? So next thing I see as I'm driving along is a cell tower. And the cell tower, and I've noticed this on trips up here before, the cell tower is a roost for vultures. So all these vultures up on the cell tower. I adore vultures. One of their, if I hadn't been an artist, I would have been an ornithologist, so I'm really big on birds. And one of the things, there's turkey vultures and there's black vultures. These were black vultures, but the turkey vulture's Latin name is Catharsis aura. I've always been so delighted by that it cleans the aura. And when you're in Tibet, the ground is so hard that it's impossible to bury a body. So in Tibet, what the Tibetan Buddhists have created is a ceremonial sky burial. And when I was there, it was forbidden for Americans, and probably all foreigners, it was forbidden for them to attend a sky burial because they come as spectators. And it's a very, very deep ritual. And it's a very, very important ceremony. How it's done is that when you die, you are placed into a fetal position and your body is wrapped in white cloth after you're ceremoniously cleaned and prepared. You're placed into this fetal position. And a tulkul is called. That's a person who is trained to take your body to the next step. How do we stay with equanimity here and now when we know we're going to die? You know, it's really tricky. We don't want to think about it. We don't want to deal with it. We don't want to clean that closet. We don't want to let go of those things. We'll let somebody else do it. Well, so your body's wrapped up. You're all ready. The tulkul comes and carries you up the mountain, which is just a mountain. It's no trees. It's up in the Himalayas. And there are these amazing open, flat boulders. And the body is placed on a flat boulder. And in a very specific way, the body is prepared for sky burial. And it basically means that the cloth is removed and the tulkul, what would you call it? He dismembers the body, removes the brain, takes out the organs, places the thigh bones off in a certain place because they're going to be turned into musical instruments. The organs are, they're very precious. They make us human. Our organs make us who we are, our brain and our interior. So this is extremely important way to leave the planet, according to this tradition. The vultures are all around tulkul. They're trained. There's dozens and dozens and dozens of vultures waiting. They don't rush in, they just wait. It's like when I was there and I went to the monasteries, and most of the monasteries were bombed and destroyed to take control of the Tibetan culture. But then the Chinese government realized, we can make some money here. Let's let the monks rebuild the monasteries, some of them, and there'll be a way for us to get some money from the Tibetan people because everybody wants to go to a monastery, and so they make donations, and of course the donations go to the Chinese government. And let's put some Chinese undercover monks in the monasteries so we can make sure that the monks aren't really getting away with anything in their peace practices. There's always going to be a spy. How do you rest in equanimity here and now when you know you're being watched all the time? You know, we're in a culture that these things are happening even now, you know, and it's good and it's not good. How do you rest in equanimity here and now? So I went into this temple, into this monastery, and the beautiful aspect of being in a monastery is that the monks are allowed to continue to do their peace practices for the world. Every full moon, I was there at the full moon, every full moon, every monastery is filled with prayers for the world. It's like the prayers are raining down on the world, bringing this electromagnetic force field of peace to the world, bringing equanimity, but we're so busy. And we have so many things going on. How do we rest in equanimity, free from attachment and free from aversion? It's just really a curiosity for us in the world, because we're so unsettled. We're so nervous. We're so anxious so much of the time. So this idea of resting in equanimity, it just really captured my attention. Even before I really understood what it was, even when I was in Tibet, I really didn't get it. I was able to see the sky burials going on. I could see the vultures circling up on those high peaks. And I knew that there was something, somebody had died and this was what was happening. The bones are left. The tulku completes his job of ceremonially dissecting the body and leaving it out in the open, and the birds come in and they finish the job. It's really quite an extraordinarily stunning way to leave the planet. I thought of that today when I was driving up here, the cell tower and the vultures sitting on the cell tower, and seeing a license plate that says CH46ES, changes, and recognize how powerful it is to know how to change. So the third thing that happened as I was driving up today is that special lane, it's only open a couple times during the day, the HOV lane. You have to have two people in the car to use it. It's got that diamond pattern, the diamond lane, you could call it. And in Mahayana Buddhism, part of Tibetan Buddhism, there's something called the fast lane. Like, we want things to happen fast. We don't want to have to wait for enlightenment. So they've got this way to fast track it. And it's called becoming a student of what's called bodhicitta. Bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is a Tibetan word for enlightened mind, awakened mind. You know, often when I come here I share metta. May you be at peace. May your heart remain open. And the John Donahue poem today starts, may you, may you, may you. May you be at peace. May your heart remain open. It's so easy. I mean, it's really not so easy. This week I was listening to something and there was a reference to toxic positivity and how it's a real issue. Toxic positivity. Oh yeah, it's fine, I'm fine, it's all fine, everything's fine. But actually, it ain't so fine right now. And we're living through this dynamic time. And in Tibetan Buddhism, we're given this gift. It's not, the Dalai Lama and the Lamas remind us that you can come into Tibetan Buddhism, Buddhism itself, any kind of Buddhism. You can come in from any religion and it will only deepen your religion. You don't have to change your religion to learn about Buddhism, because Buddhism is really more of a philosophy or a psychology. It's a way of becoming, is it equanimity? It's a way of resting in equanimity, no matter what your belief system is, by learning about bodhicitta. There are 6 steps to bodhicitta. And the first one is loving kindness, which is the metta meditation. And the second step is joy. And the third step is equanimity. And my teacher, my Buddhist teacher, he wrote this book. I don't usually bring anything for show and tell, but he wrote this book. And he's written many books, but this was given to us when we began in Buddhist school, as I call it. It's called The Transformation of Suffering. And Buddhism 101 is that all living beings simply want to be happy. But I guess Buddhism 2.0 is that we all suffer. And so the transformation of suffering includes bodhicitta, learning to put out loving kindness, learning to be joyful, lighten up. Lighten up. That's real Buddhist. Lighten up. You're going to die. Enjoy the day. It's a fresh day. It's a new day. Good boy. to welcome in all of the different levels of elementals and spirits and us in our physical bodies. But we're not always going to be in a physical body, so we can take the fast track to enlightenment, according to Buddhism in the 21st century. We can practice bodhicitta. We can practice loving kindness. We can practice being joyful. We practice, because it ain't guaranteed. And it can be pulled out from underneath our feet at any moment. I got a call a couple days ago, and it just knocked the wind out of my sails to hear the news. But we're all going to reach the opposite shore. We're all going to leave the planet. When I first moved to Virginia Beach, I had to recreate everything about myself. I had to do a lot of CH46ES. I was just like, okay, I surrender, I let go, I let God, I will go where I need to go. My partner saw an ad in the paper, read the paper every day back then, hard copy paper. Hey Drozda, there's an ad in the paper here. Listen to this. You need to work, she said. You need to get a job. She said, I'm an artist, I'm self-employed. You need to get a job. Here's an ad. And the little classified said, 2 elderly gentlemen enjoy classical music, fine cuisine, literature, require light housekeeping, meal preparation, companionship. She goes, you could do that. Oh, well, I guess I could, actually, and I do need to earn some income. So I went to Portsmouth, Virginia for an interview on the terrace of an apartment where this elderly man lived. I didn't meet the man right away. I met his son. His son was in his 70s. And he's I didn't know this at the time, but he's a bishop of a Methodist Episcopalian church in New York City. He's written many books, and he's got some credentials. And he interviewed me on the terrace of his father's apartment, and he wanted to know, if I could come and help his father be comfortable in his home as he was aging, do some light housekeeping, do some cooking. I got the job. His brother, the elderly man's brother, was in the classified ad, but he decided he wasn't ready to have anybody come into his home. So I just worked with the brother, Raymond. He was a retired banker, dressed like a banker every day, wore a Stetson hat, top coat. I'd get him outside to take walks. I would fix his meals. I created Raymond's Cafe in his kitchen, and I'd have a white napkin over my arm. I'd make him his meals for the week and label them and put them in the refrigerator. And I watched him, really shine. We had such a great time. And his daughter didn't like it. She was very jealous. She decided he needed to go someplace else, so she put him into a horrible place that I could only go and visit him at once. And then I couldn't go back. He had a black eye when I went to visit him because his roommate had beat him up. And it was just, we're all going to get to that place where how we're going to rest in equanimity, free from attachment and free from aversion. It's complex. He left the planet, and his brother, the one that was in that classified ad, called me. It was like 3 years later. His brother called me. I spent 6 years as a companion with the other brother. When I went for my interview at his home with him, we got on great. And when we got done with the interview, I said, his name was John, I said, thank you, John. It's been really great to meet you. Don't ever call me John. I am Mr. Lawrence to you. I said, I'm so sorry, sir. I'm so sorry, sir. And I immediately began to call him Sir John. Sir John and I were together for 6 years. I was his companion on Wednesdays and Saturdays. He was a music aficionado. He recorded every Metropolitan opera. We got on so great. I would come in the front door and he would say, sit down, Tigress. This is going to be the easiest 25 cents a minute you ever earned. And he always gave me a cost of living raise, and we got on so well. But he fell against his doorway on New Year's Day in whatever year it was, and he collapsed. And his estranged nephew, who we hated and had not seen for 5 years, showed up that day. At that moment, and pushed the door open. The door was always locked, but he'd been gone out to get his newspaper. And when he came in, he had a seizure and he fell against the door. But his nephew was able to push the door open. And he was brought back from certain death in his living room. He was brought back and he was in the hospital. Sir John was in the hospital. And I went to see him in the hospital. He was all bruised from having fallen. And he was so angry. Why did that kid have to show up that day, at that moment, and push that door open? I could have been out of here, he said. Now look at me, and I'm here. And he was here for 2 more years. And he could not rest in equanimity. He could not. He was angry. He was agitated. He was not at peace. We just don't know. We don't have a crystal ball. And toxic positivity is something that we really want to be aware of. That we want to meet people where they are, not where we think they should be. The news I got this week, it's very hard, very, very hard. I have to step back and allow the individual to go through their experience and honor the experience. That's so much about what bodhicitta, what loving kindness is, to love one another where we're at. Nobody needs to be fixed. That runs all through Buddhism and it runs all through unity. We have the Christ consciousness. We have the Mother, Father, God. All we need to do is appreciate one another. Appreciate that we're here, this beautiful day, this beautiful world. For we don't know how long to celebrate, to be heart to heart. Even if we can't hug, we can be heart to heart with everyone. There are no enemies. We make them up. In Buddhism, we're taught that today's friend, tomorrow's enemy. Yesterday's enemy, tomorrow's friend. Everything's constantly CH46ES. It's so cool. It is so cool to be here. It is so exciting to be part of this huge experiment called life on Earth in the 3rd dimensional plane. And I love that we have unity, that we have new thought, that we have these wonderful lifelines. We have these wonderful ways that we can lean in and be reminded, love one another. So I brought to close, off of my studio wall, I'm a member of International Campaign for Tibet. And it's a political movement to bring Tibet back to the Tibetan people. So in the March 2020, so right when COVID was beginning, the issue had a statement from the Dalai Lama, which if you just want to use this as our meditation for today, His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, makes a statement. As the world faces a global health crisis, His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, shared these wise thoughts on social media on March 13th, 2020. Quote, "In the global society we live in today, we are interdependent. We all depend on each other. Therefore, it is no longer appropriate to divide the world into us and them. We need to think of everyone belonging to one humanity. If the world were attacked by aliens, we would unite. We need to work together in a similar way to resist dangers to health that affect us all." May we rest in equanimity here and now. May we cut the T off there. There ain't no there. May we cut the W off where. There's no where to get to. It's all happening here. It's all happening now. May we rest in equanimity, free from attachment and free from aversion.
easier than others, isn't it? All right. Now's an opportunity to bless this church. So if you take your offering out and hold it in your hand or over your heart, and let's say our offertory affirmation together. Divine God, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am.
So blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed. We are so blessed, we are so blessed, we are so grateful for all that we have. We are so blessed, we are so blessed, we are so grateful, we are so blessed.
And we are so blessed and we are so grateful. We're grateful to be here today in this beautiful space. We're grateful that Donna Drozda could join us today and she'll be back again in November. Yay! And we're grateful for Paulette and her beautiful music that she shared with us. Thank you, Paulette. As we give to this church, we not only give to the community here in this building, all of us here that are a part of Unity Williamsburg Spiritual Center, but we also give to our community. We also give to the community that surrounds us. And as we give to all, we receive. And so it is. Blessings to all. You have a basket there, so as you leave today, if you put your offering in the basket, we will be grateful. Thank you. Now's an opportunity for our announcements. Jude will be sharing that with us. And Reverend Jenny, did you want to speak?
So next Sunday's speaker is going to be Reverend Barrett, Bennett, and her message title will be "The Bible Tells Me So." Check out the book table in the back. There's lots of books, and if you can leave a love offering, that would be great. But if not, take what you need. We still have lots of daily words and CDs back there that are free for the taking. The prayer chaplain for today is going to be Susan Cardozo, and she'll be waiting for you in the back to give you one-on-one prayer, and all those prayers are confidential. And if you have a prayer during the week and you would like us to put it on our prayer list, you can email the chaplains, all one word, prayerunitywilliamsburg@gmail.com. prayerunitywilliamsburg@gmail.com. Feel free to go to our website at unitywilliamsburg.com and fill out information if you'd like to be on our mailing list, our email list. We'd love to stay in touch. And that's not everything we need. But if you'd like more information and you're out in Facebook land or YouTube land, you can email the church at admin@unitywilliamsburg.com. Right. Or you can always submit questions on our Facebook Messenger, and we'll try to get you the answer.
I just wanted to speak briefly about Reverend Barrett Bennett, who's going to come next week. She's never been to our church before. She was the minister that served at Unity Renaissance for several years, but she is a Bible dipped and dyed in the Bible. She, every class I took on my way to become a licensed Unity teacher, she was the teacher. And so she is brilliant. Plus, her dad was a Bible scholar, and her grandfather was a Bible scholar. So she is a hoot. She introduced us to a Bible called Charlie Falkerson's Bible, and it is a hoot. The way, just making fun of, like you said, hey, make it light, right? Enjoy it. So please come next week and tell folks about it, because she's going to be really, really wonderful. And then Denise and I will follow up with 2 more weeks of talking about the book of Revelation. So we hope to see you all for the next couple of weeks.
Are there any other announcements? Okay, so let's stand and sing our peace song, and we'll say a prayer.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as Creator, and we all agree. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. Each moment in
Saying good morning to you all. So have a wonderful week. Thank you for being here in person. Thank you for being here through Facebook. We are all grateful, and we thank Donna for being here today. We are very grateful. Thank you, Donna. Have a great week, everyone. There's barbecue in the back.
In the back.
Wonderful.